On July 18th, 2014, Florida State University law professor Dan Markel was gunned down in his garage by two hitmen from Miami. Dan Markel had divorced Wendi Adelson, but they were in a contentious custody battle over their two sons in the Leon County Family Court of Circuit 2 in Florida. At this time, there have been 4 convictions in his murder. The two hitmen, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, the middle woman, Catherine Katie McBanawa, and Charlie Adelson, the brother-in-law of Dan Markel. Donna Adelson is currently on trial. Donna is the mother of Wendi Adelson and the ex-mother-in-law of Dan Markel, the victim. The two hitmen drove from Miami to Tallahassee twice to commit the murder, once in early June 2014 and again in July 2014, in which the second attempt was successful. As we dissect this complicated and convoluted case, these are our opinions and discussions around the facts of Dan Markel's murder conspiracy. We are not psychologists, psychiatrists, attorneys, detectives, or professional YouTubers. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for that terrific introduction, True Crime Wifey.
So tonight, Allison and I thought that we would go over Wendi's transcript from last week, from her testimony, and kind of go over all of the I don't remembers. Because up to page 60, there's at least 34. And I'm going to say, and Allison, you can do this too. I'm going to say hi to the folks that we have in our chat. Hi, Mia Wallace. Hi, Coercive Control is a Crime. Hi, Michelle French. I think that she's actually gone to sleep. Hi, Mr. C. Hi, Liz. 850 is here. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Mr. C, Mia, Liz, 850.
So Allison, can you pull up that? Okay, great. Okay, so this is the transcript from Wendi Adelson's testimony. That was August 25th, about a week ago. Wow, I can't believe it's already been a week. This has been a very crazy day in regards to testimony in the courthouse. Hi, Lolly. Thank you for joining. So the reason why we called this, like, I don't remember, but the evidence tells us that you do. We were going to go over some of these. So the first question that we're going to go over is, Georgia is saying, outside the context of your relationship with Dan Markel, did you ever express that just the smallness and slowness of Tallahassee made you feel claustrophobic? Wendi's answer is, I don't remember saying that. And then Georgia says, please refer to tab 8 to refresh your recollection. And then we have Fulford saying, so, well, first off, she definitely expressed that she talked about it not only in her book, but also to Jeffrey Lacasse, right, Allison?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I have some. Oh, I didn't have it. I have some screenshots from her book that, let's see, that I could pull up that directly contradict. Let's see. Oops. Sorry, why don't you go on to the next one while I find the
Okay.
appropriate.
And I'm trying to see, is that better for everyone to see? Because I know that Rosemary had asked us to, have some sort of demonstration. And again, we're not professional YouTubers, okay? So this is just two women who are informed about the case, discussing the case. So the next time that she says, I don't remember, Georgia is asking her, what about your brother Charlie? Did he have a role there as well? And they're basically talking about the Adelson Institute in regards to, the dad was my dentist and my mom's the office manager. Like, she doesn't even mention Charlie. So then Georgia asks about Charlie. And Wendy's response is, he was a periodontist, so I believe at some point he purchased the practice. I don't remember what year that was, but he would sometimes work for my dad's office and sometimes work from other offices around South Florida. So she doesn't remember that her brother worked at the office. Now we're going to get into the divorce pleadings.
Oh, True Crime Wifey, do you want me to? I did find the screenshot, and
yes, that would be great. Do I need to stop sharing?
Yeah, to acknowledge, this is a screenshot I took yesterday, although this show was from like 5 months ago, from Surviving the Survivor. So they had on the screen clips of her book, and this is an example of her. Yeah, like I definitely found out how wrong you can be with assumptions about that she calls it Hiawassee Springs. She was like assuming that it, what did she say? Oh yeah, that Hiawassee was in Florida, and we just like other parts of Florida that I knew from visiting my grandparents. I mean, like this Lily character, she changes some details. She actually, we know Wendi actually grew up in Miami, but I assume there would be palm trees and beach and sunburned Canadians, and North Florida was basically just like South Florida. Lily. I definitely found out how wrong you can be with assumptions.
Well, Emil Wallace says, like when Wendi says she can't remember, that's code for I can remember, and it will incriminate me, so I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me remove this.
Allegedly, in our opinion.
Oh, sorry, Juke on my feet. I think when I pulled up that clip, I actually wait, are you able?
No, I stopped sharing and now I'm gonna share. But then is it there?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, actually, this is better too. This is you're more zoomed in. I think it'll be easier for people to read.
Yeah, I'm at 175%. So I zoomed in really well.
Yeah, this is good.
Okay, so the next I don't remember. This is number 4. Okay, and my count only went up to 34, but I think it's only about 60 pages, so there's another 100 pages. Allison and I will not get through all of this tonight, just to let you know. Okay, so did Dan Markel have a hard time understanding some of your mom's behavior? I don't remember that. Well, did she think you incapable of driving to South Florida by yourself with the kids? This is back when they were little. She's like, yeah, I don't think she thought I was incapable, but I was breastfeeding and it was helpful to have someone with me. Number 5, I don't remember. Okay, here are some options that she sent you. Here's an interesting guy. This is when they're talking about Donna sending Wendi Adelson like, I guess, like prospective dudes to date. And so Georgia says, here's some options that she sent you. Here's an interesting guy, etc. Okay, did you ever feel like your mom was walking all over you? I don't remember feeling that way. Okay, well, about specifically regarding this divorce. And then she almost said, I don't remember. And then she's like, I mean, I had a really good attorney and I was making the decisions I wanted to make. The next one. Oh, this was new to me. And I don't know if it's ever been I do not recall this information ever coming out in trial before. But Georgia asks Wendi, and when she says him, she's talking about Dan Markel. Did you refer to him as an STD? I don't remember saying that. And then here comes Georgia, tab 5. Oh, looks like I made that analogy. And here's Georgia's question, and it's a quote from Wendi. Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, horrible. Like as if all the other name calling wasn't bad. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think this might be the worst that we've seen.
Like this just shows her hatred. I want to see what the chat's saying real quick. Yeah, this just like shows like her hatred and animosity toward Dan Markel. Ugh. And then so she asked her, like, is that what you said? I did. And did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother? I don't remember. Here's the other one. Here's the next one. I don't remember ever saying that. So I don't think it's something I said very often. Like Wendi is just getting caught. Okay, and then here's another one. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord? I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have. Did you refer to your ex-husband as Gibbers? I did. Oh, now she's going to admit to it, even though she lied about it during Katie McManama's trial. Remember when Judge Hankinson had her, was asking her to spell Gibbers? And she's like, oh, it could be a J or a G. And then he spells it out. And then Georgia comes and says, didn't you have Dan Markel's phone number in your phone under Gibbers? So then, and this was something new to me. Georgia says, what is the meaning of Gibbers? And Wendi says, Gibbers was just a silly name that a friend helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense. Then Georgia said, did it reference Jew in boots? And then Wendi says, that I don't remember. Georgia, it was a friendly name, right? Wendi, it was a silly name. Did you ever say that you hated Dan Markel? I don't remember saying that. But I certainly could have. And here goes Georgia, tab 31. Please, to refresh your memory. I said that I hate him in this moment. Okay, did you say it in that email? That same email quote, I hate that I hate my children's dad. And then Wendi's caught, so she says, I did.
Yeah, Wendi knew that Georgia was coming with all the receipts, but I don't know, it just seems counterproductive from Wendi's perspective to draw this out with repeatedly not recalling and then, having to turn to each tab and then agree. Like, it seems like it would call less attention if she just said, yes, I did.
Yeah, I know, and it's interesting because a couple times I saw in here where she says like yes ma'am and no ma'am. Like I know I said this before, but like Wendy's attitude during this trial is so different than the last three trials. And that's why I believe she's had
Yeah,
to coach
yeah.
it.
Like during not saying Charlie's, but I saw like her testifying during the hitmen, and she almost seemed like giddy, like she's giggly.
Yeah. Yeah,
And she
that's
Yeah,
why I
she
think that
definitely seems
she's
more rattled this time. Oh, and that's also so 850 was in who's in our chat right now. Um,
Mhm.
she attended on the day that Wendi and Rob testified, and
Oh,
that's
wow.
yeah. Yeah, she mentioned how heavy, I mean, it came through, but how heavy the testimony for Rob was, and how Wendi seemed rattled. Oh, something that was interesting, which didn't come through, I think, unless you're in the courtroom. Wendi was refused to look at her mom until um, the prosecutor asked her to identify her mom, but she hadn't. And I wonder if that's even why the prosecutor did it, because she noticed that Wendi was not acknowledging like either. She did when she left. She apparently uh
Like
hugged her
glanced at
dad.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
or like half hug.
she like kissed him like an air kiss, cheek kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that like if Charlie takes the stand, he's going to be crying like a baby, and that Wendy wasn't even going to look at her mother. I've always said that
Yeah.
because yeah, and then when she's asked like to point out, she's like, I can't see what she's wearing. What do you mean you can't see what she's wearing? She's not that far away. Lolly says Wendy was determined to continue her act through her testimony. And then 850 says, well, it's up on the screen. Like, right, when Wendy started testifying, the jurors were very engaged. Of course they were. And Donna lit up like a light when
Oh,
oh,
something else that 850 said. So I guess there's one woman that is like consistently taking notes, but 850 mentioned that she noticed a man who was not previously taking notes, that he started taking notes during Rob's testimony. Like they became really engaged with Rob, and yeah, I think remained engaged with Wendi as well. I
well, the
think.
jury had to see Donna's face with the two differences of her children.
Mm-hmm.
Like Donna looked like, I mean, she looked like she had zero emotion, nothing behind her eyes when Rob was on the stand. And when Wendy, arrived and was taking the stand, it looked like Donna just wanted to jump over the table and run up and love on her and hug her. Like that crazy, like smiling, showing teeth. Like, I know there's a lot of clips out there. Yeah, 850 said, oh,
Yeah,
that's the
85.
only time. And during break, she literally turned her chair away. Wow.
The only time she looked at her mom, yeah, was when Georgia asked her to identify her mother in the courtroom. And Wendy even said, "Oh, I can't really see what she's wearing." That's seemed, even though, it was harder to tell not being in the courtroom, that seemed like that must be a lie too. She can't see her mother well enough to see. She didn't want to look at her mother long enough to even register what she was wearing. And
She could have said like cable knit cardigan.
yeah. Um, yeah, 850 mentioned that during breaks or when there was sidebar, like Wendi literally turned her chair around so she would not be facing her mom. That must be so noticeable from the jury. And Rob, apparently, he also, he didn't look at his parents. I mean, I think it's for entirely different reasons. But
Yeah, I think he was having a really tough time up there. Like, I mean, his family is murderers. Like, how do you process that? I see that we've had a few more people join. Hi, C Star. Hi, Eric Lieber. Hi, Patricia. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's go to the next I don't remember. Oh, I'm sorry. We were right here. Did you ever call your ex-husband, Dan Markel, an emotional terrorist? I very well could have. I don't remember saying that, but and here comes Georgia. Oh, that one's on tab 34. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is that? Yes. Oh, I believe it is 34. And then Wendy's response is, it is. I see it. I said it in December of 2013, approximately 7 months before his murder. December, yes, approximately 7 months. Tab 35. In June of 2014, did you say your ex-husband, I hate him so? I don't see it. Are you on tab 35? Oh no, I was on tab 34. It's tab 35? Yes. Oh, I did. I did write that. That's approximately 3 weeks before Mr. Markel was murdered, correct? Yes. Ugh. This is grueling. This is like almost worse than our podcast. Okay. Did you strategize to leave him in a way that would cause or inflict maximum damage upon him? Wendy's answer, no. Is that something your mom ever said? I don't remember.
yeah, that's what Rob had testified that.
Yeah, they totally planned that.
Yeah.
And right to the moment before he was about to take the stage.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, for people who have to speak in front of a lot of people, like that is like that shook him. Not only is his personal life crashing down, they're doing it to his professional life at that moment as well. So
Yeah,
that's
so they
even
planned it down to
more
the
evil.
second just to
Ugh.
get him
He
before he
probably
was.
was still trying to process when he was having to present.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to give a presentation receiving news like that just minutes before.
So she says, I don't remember. Did you discuss with your mom how and when you would leave your marriage? I did. Then she says, oh, do you recall a November 2nd, 2012 email where Dan Markel was saying to you, let's put this all aside. This is all about the kids. Let's act toward each other in a way that they can be proud of. Did he say that to you? I remember reading an email like that. Oh, now she's going to say, I remember reading an email like that. When really she wants to say, I don't remember, because she knows that Georgia's probably about to bring out that email.
Yeah, isn't that reflects so well on Dan, and she could have so easily agreed. He's trying to be as amicable as possible, and she did the exact opposite in a way that, yeah, the kids
Well,
would.
even in the email that he leaves her that morning at 9:04 a.m.,
Yeah, the
he says,
voicemail.
hey, Wendy, it's Danny. Good morning.
Yeah,
Like, he tells her good morning. Meanwhile, she's gotten the 8:20 a.m., you know, deleted text. This is so sweet because she's been told that the hitman, in my opinion, and it's my belief, my opinion, that she's already been told they're watching him. They're going to be on his tail as soon as he leaves the house. Oh, okay. Mr. C wants to know what's everyone's opinion about Donna testifying. I go back and forth. I think her attorneys are going to tell her no, but I think that she's so defiant that she will get up there. But then again, I'm not so sure. And I know I said this and it's not. And I kind of laugh when I say this, but like I almost feel like there's going to be like a fake, she's going to like fake a medical emergency or like a heart attack or something. There's going to be some kind of drama. Patricia says, I think Wendi can see her forever cage looming on the horizon this time. She must know they're going to come for her when they can. Yeah. Hey, Mona arrived. Hi, hey, Mona. Thank you for joining us. Did I say hi to Lolly? I can't remember. Allison and I are trying to get better with being more structured and then also engaging more in the chat because we've been trying to be better. We're not professional YouTubers.
Oh yeah, people
hi.
been leaving us comments saying that we're not professional YouTubers, so that's why.
I told them thanks for watching, and I hearted their hate comment. I gave them a thumbs up and a heart and said thanks for watching. Oh, Melanie is here. Hi. Oh, and Manira Satana is here. Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. This is really interesting. Because 850 being in the courtroom. So they brought Rob in and out a side door so he didn't have to be in public.
That's good.
Yeah. Whereas
I mean, unlike what happened today where they had
yeah, Wendi had to walk through the whole courtroom. I think that's great that they did that for Rob, but not for Wendi or Mr. C also asked who was sitting next to Harvey. That was their friend who testified.
Yeah, and I don't know who sat next to him after they left for the airport, because it seemed to me when Annie got off the stand, she went and sat next to Harvey, and then her partner, Ron Gutterson, got up on the stand, so she watched that. And before the Miss Quay lady, Kelsey Quay, came on, they left for the airport, and then they had to be called back.
Yeah, I know. She was at the airport. Just a reminder of
I know.
catching people at the airport.
I was really hoping that they were going to charge her for perjury. And I know that she's like an old lady, but I was really hoping that they were going to charge her. But when they brought her back on the stand after the lunch break, I mean, Georgia kind of, stuck it to her a little bit because there was no call.
Yeah,
like,
the
there was
WhatsApp
no record
and then
of the call. And then she said WhatsApp, and they're like, it didn't have voice communication until 2015. And she's like, oh, it's Viber or Viper or whatever, like whatever app it was. And she said earlier in her testimony that she doesn't do any social media and doesn't understand a lot of technology. Meanwhile, she has these, it's end-to-end encrypted apps on her phone. So
yeah, I never even heard of Viper.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm not. I try to have as few apps on my phone as possible, because the privacy policies are different with apps than like if you have something on your computer. Like if you do Facebook on your computer, the privacy policy is like one thing, but then if you have the app on your phone, there's a lot more like data mining going on off your phone if you read the privacy policies. It's okay. Yeah, am I the only person who's ever read privacy policy? Okay. Let's get to the next one. This was the
before the airport comment and that lady, There was also a bit where Georgia asked her to explain. Donna saying, "I don't know if we're going to get out in time," and then her friend says, "Oh, she meant like the plane was going to leave the airport on time." So yeah, her friend's just like filling in.
She's like, yeah, she's what out? No. If you're trying to catch a plane, you don't say out on time. She's talking about out of the country. If you're trying to catch a plane, you say, I hope we get in on time, right? Like into the airport, into the plane, onto the tarmac. You don't say out, like it was out of the country.
Yeah. I don't know if that
Yeah.
woman hadn't been watching any of the coverage. Like she claimed she didn't even know that Vietnam was an non-extradition country. But yeah, she just wasn't credible at all. So I think it was counterproductive. And it was Georgia didn't know exactly what they were gonna discuss, and that was really clever to realize, oh, these phones didn't even connect on the day that this friend is saying they did connect. Like that's even like it's highlighted by their own technology expert that they had to fly out from, was it Oregon? They had to fly across the country at $300 an hour, including travel time. That just shows that they couldn't even find like an expert to testify for them. And
Yeah, that girl was useless. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but like she didn't even have any type of real experience. And she was there to refute Sergeant Corbett. Well, and of course, I mean, you were on my live this afternoon. I mean, I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, and I will guarantee you that Corbett will come back for rebuttal.
yeah,
Oh, and another thing, another thing that Annie lied about, she lied and said that, on July 18th, like she talked to Harvey and Donna and that they were headed to Tallahassee, but they didn't actually they actually once they dropped off the money, they went to a hotel in Orlando, and then they didn't leave until the morning of the 19th to go up to Tallahassee. And Rob Adelson even testified that he spoke to his mother the morning of July 19th, and they were headed to Tallahassee.
wow.
So yeah, so that was, I mean, that's why I'm calling it Donna's debacle defense. Okay, so the next I don't remember is was Mr. Markel seeking to depose your mother as part of the divorce proceedings? I don't remember that. What about your brother Charlie? Did he care about whether you moved to South Florida or not? Oh, I think so. I mean, I think he would have liked for me to be closer to him and have the kids closer to him. Oh, so imagine like the boys, like that's who they've been. I mean, that's who's been, you know, raising them since basically since since July 21st, 2014, until Donna was arrested. Those are, Charlie, of course, but that's the people who've been raising them. It's very sad.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad.
Okay, so Georgia asks, did you ever write that you would have never left him, meaning Dan Markel, without your mom's suggestions? I don't remember saying that. And here comes Georgia. Refer to tab 41 and see if it refreshes your memory. I do say here, I wouldn't have done it on my own. Do you specifically reference your mom? I say my parents and brother's suggestions and support. Okay, maybe because I wasn't happy, But a part of me thought that maybe I would just stay until the kids grew up. Unbelievable. Okay, so Georgia asks, all right, I think you already testified that you did not offer your mom your divorce petition to edit. Is that your testimony? Wendi says, sorry, what's the question? Did you send your divorce petition to your mom to assist you in editing it? I don't remember doing it. And did your mom also pretend to be you to Mercer University to help you complete your divorce affidavit? I have no memory of that. Like, how does she not have a memory of that? Her mom pretended to be her. She says, okay,
What?
go
Oh,
to
I
a
missed
little
that part. That's so weird.
Yeah. So Wendi says, I have no memory of that. And then Georgia says, go to the little pop out here of this email from your mom. Obviously, I pretended to be contacting you, or I'm sorry, contacting these financial institutions. Is this something that she would normally do on your behalf? Pose as you? Ugh.
Is that a typo with the Mercer University? I don't really pretended to be. I remember the part about pretending to be you with a financial institution, but pretended to be you to
No,
Mercer
Donna pretended to
University?
be, yes. Yeah, I mean, Georgia's not asking the question if she doesn't know the answer or doesn't have evidence of the answer. So apparently Donna pretended to be Wendi to Mercer University to help complete the divorce affidavit. Wow. So Georgia directs her and says, go to the little pop out here of this email from your mom. Obviously, I pretended to be you contacting these financial institutions. Is that something that she would normally do on your behalf? Poses you. Then Wendi says, this is nuts. I have very little understanding or involvement of my financial situation. And so that might have been an account that my dad had created for me, or that had like post signatory authority. So that's possible. Wow.
Yeah, she claims to have no understanding of her finances, but then describes, I think, a situation that wouldn't really even occur to someone that didn't have some understanding about,
Like
yeah, different types of.
Wendi is, yeah, she's an attorney that knows a lot of other attorneys. She couldn't find someone to help her with a divorce petition.
Yeah.
I just find it odd that Donna was doing that stuff. But remember, this is the trial for Donna, right? So Donna's like the controlling, the domestic coordinator. She's the one doing all of this. So this part is very upsetting. She says, so George is asking her, like asking her about Donna. She was extremely concerned about the well-being of the children in reference to his religious practices. Wendi says yes. She wanted a psychological evaluation of Mr. Markel. Wendi says yes. He didn't need a psychological evaluation, did he? Honestly, I don't remember. Was he an extremely intelligent, accomplished law professor? Yes. Did your mom ever call Dan Markel any disparaging names around this time frame? She did, including piece of shit? Yes. Asshole? Yes. A narcissist? Yes. A bully? Yes. A bastard? Yes. Did your mom help you prepare your meeting with your divorce lawyer? And then Wendi goes and, kind of tries to, Then she says, yeah, my mom offered to help, but I don't think I needed help preparing for meetings with my divorce lawyer. And then this was the Adamson attorney. And then she says, and your mom in an email dated January 9th of 2013 indicates that she thinks the job opportunities that you had in South Florida was a majoring bargaining tip for in your divorce. Do you agree with that? Did I agree with it at that time? Yes. I don't remember. Georgia says she did a lot of work sort of making arguments to that point, didn't she? I believe so. Georgia says, and did you forward your correspondence with your lawyer to your mother? I did. And then here goes Georgia Publishing, page 64. Okay, so now she said, okay, they're talking about, okay, didn't your mom have some other ideas for some other actions that could happen? She did. And then she did want to take it to an appeal. Do you remember that? I don't remember, but, and then Georgia's like, that's on tab 43 of your binder. Yes, I see. But she also wanted to develop this plan of action that could be implemented between the time you learned of the relocation denial and your final hearing in court to maybe strong arm Mr. Markel into agreeing to the relocation. Do you remember that email? So she knows Georgia has it, so she has to agree. And she said she looked into it and she could get them baptized in a couple of weeks. Do you remember that? I don't remember, but I'm sure it's here. So Wendi starts realizing that Georgia's got her number. Let's look at the chat for a second. Hi, Deb H is here. Hi, Deb. Thanks for joining us. I hope I haven't missed anyone coming in. Did I say hi to Patricia Burns? Okay.
Can I pull up? Because I don't know if they ask her about being an actress in this testimony, but I do think it's. But I did want to show it, so I'm not sure when the best time is to show this. But
No,
I
yes,
have
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Screenshot of the name change and from STS, and then about her being an actress. So
Hi, Skytrue. Thanks for joining. Here, I'll stop sharing for a sec. I need to stop sharing so you can share.
Okay.
Good to see you, Skytrue.
This is about, and I realized, it's like, oh, I know I heard this before, and then I realized when I was watching it that, yeah, in fact, I was on the, you can see, wait, oh, can you see it? Oh, wait, oh, sorry. I need to, add to stage. Yeah, it was funny to see my comment come up and as I was rewatching this, but yeah, there's Joe Patuto, Tim Jansen, the host of STS. So yeah, remember when we were talking about this last time and I wanted to find but she in this story, this novel, she is telling Josh, who she's getting a divorce from, that yeah, she's changing the name of their
daughter. Yeah, Josh, I'm going to change my her last name. And oops. Yeah, and about the adoption. Basically, she is adopting this baby that they thought they were adopting together. She's doing it herself so that she's yours now officially. And then yes, name changed and all. So Anna Stone, which I guess was Stone must have been
Yeah, Josh
then.
Stone is
Yeah,
the
so he's asking
husband.
like, does the child have his last name? Sorry, I can't. This is actually screenshot, so I wish I could get rid of my comment here because it's covering. No, Josh Ann Walker. Like, I mean, I assume it says something like her mom or something. So, yeah, she was writing in her novel a few years before the murder, even all about changing the name, about making yeah, having this baby
Oh,
be all
oh.
hers. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I see some comments real quick. I just wanted to say, Deb, this is streaming both on Allison, my father's Alibi's channel, as well as mine. And we can see everything in StreamYard. And we also have the chat that's in the bottom right corner as well. So if you guys are not seeing everyone else, it's because either you're chatting on mine or you're chatting on Allison's. So I just wanted to let you know that. But Allison and I can see everybody's chat.
This is also in the novel. Mom, you always told me that I'm a natural born actress.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
this book is like to a T how she was feeling, what she thought of Tallahassee. I mean, she's foreshadowing what she's going to be doing later to Dan Markel in this book. That's why this book is so important. I know it didn't get brought in to Donna's trial, but it's definitely going to get brought into Wendi's trial.
Yeah, and it was brought into previous trials too. I think, the judge said that they could use, he also said this previously, and I think Wendi kind of learned her lesson with like Charlie's trial. Like they could bring in Wendi's book to impeach Wendi, like if Wendi lies about the characters in this or whatever, or that, yeah, she wrote a story with where she was changing the baby's name and, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it didn't come into this trial, which is why I just wanted to bring it up because I don't think it's in the transcript because it didn't come in this time. Okay, let me this is the only clips I have from her book. So True Crime Wifey, did you want to go back to the transcript? Oops, okay.
Yes, do you see it?
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
like sometimes I just heard an owl in the distance do the whoo, 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 like they like have this like calling. So I'm kind of hoping that they might come closer just because like I have this mic out here, I don't know if people might be able to hear them. But sometimes I'll call back at them, but many years ago, once I was calling back at one and it literally like flew and landed on my roof, like right above like where I was sitting at the porch. And so I'm kind of careful I don't do that anymore because it scared me. But yeah, I just heard an owl in the distance. That's why I had muted it. So sorry about that. Okay, so this is the baptism. And then, hang on, let me go up real quick. So this is, they're talking, okay, here they're discussing the third of $1 million. And then Georgia has this, exhibit. And then she says, did you want her opinion on all of these things? I mean, I don't remember, but I think we always want our parents' opinions on things, even if we don't take it. And then, of course, here comes Jackie Fulver. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can't hear. And then judge says, please restate your answer. It says, counselor asked me if I wanted my mom's opinions on those things. And it's hard for me to remember here's another remember. It's hard for me to remember at the time if I wanted other opinions. But I said, I guess, people always want their parents' opinions on things.
Meanwhile, she forwarded to 12 people one of the motions. So to say, like, she can't remember if she wanted other people's opinions. She was clearly soliciting opinions from lots of people. Yeah. But yeah, and particularly her mom.
And that was so crazy in, was it Charlie's trial? When Georgia's like, what do you mean you didn't forward it? And then she's like, you forwarded it to 12 people. And then Donna reads out, like, do you guys want me to read out the 12 people? Because I do have it right here in my notes. She's like, and then, so Georgia replies to her, like, yeah, Georgia replies to her saying, like, you forwarded it to Donna Adelson, Jeffrey Lacasse, Tova Walsh, Morgan Honeycutt, Renee Griggs, Gary Cohen, Miguel Edmondson, Trey Hubler, Robert Adelson, Rachel Frank, Jared Reich, and Mahul, the Mahul, New York City at yahoo.com. That was like, Miguel and Mahul are both people that she's like been with in the past. They're like part of the list that Jeffrey Lacasse had.
Oh, wow.
So like Georgia just like totally goes, she goes to town on like reading off that list. Oh, that was like so awesome. I'm pretty sure that was Charlie's trial. Okay.
Oh, yes. Leslie, actually, True Crime Wifey even mentioned how amazing your videos are, your short videos.
Oh, Leslie, you did like 4 or 5 today on today's trial. Good job. And Allison, that was like you and I talking before we went live.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leslie's like, Leslie, you're fast on that. Yeah, Leslie says, I have one question. Where is Tova? Is she still standing behind Wendi? I don't know. I'm sure she is. Unless something's changed between them. Okay, and then this is the part about, okay, after the divorce was final, was there any more litigation between you and Dan Markel? There was. And who was the first one to file something after the divorce was final? I don't remember who was the first to file. And then Georgia says, because you both filed some things afterwards, right? And then she goes, oh, this whole thing, like, well, Danny was supposed to pay me for the house, da, 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 da. And remember the other day we were discussing, when we were going over the timeline, Dan Markel actually paid her a check for $54,725 on January 30th of 2014. And then Mary Hull testified last week that when Wendi pulled out of that home purchase, that she actually had enough money in her bank account to put down the down payment for the home. Remember the one that she had put a contract on, but then she pulled out after Charlie's text messages to her. We're about to get to that because I'm pretty sure she doesn't, I don't remember in another, like pretty soon. So here she's talking, okay, here it is. She's talking about Charlie. And when he sent an email, for example, 64N alleging, oh, I'm sorry, this is when Georgia is talking about Dan Markel and the divorce stuff. Says he, which is Dan, sent an email, for example, alleging these sorts of violations and including, quote, accusing you and your mother of making zero efforts to facilitate communications between he and the kids. Did you forward this email to your mother? I don't remember if I did or not. And then Georgia's like, during this time period, did Dan Markel send you quite a few emails pleading with you to play nice? For example, March 7th of 2013, Wendi, I really regret that things have gotten to the place where they are. Do you think we could try to resolve more issues directly with each other to prevent so much of the unnecessary tension and cost? Things like that. And then Wendi says, yes. Georgia says, okay, but then you didn't seem to be able to actually play nice with each other, even though it seemed like maybe that's what you both wanted, at least at certain points. And Wendi says, I was always trying to play nice. Yeah, you were, Wendi, while plotting the murder. Sorry, just my opinion. Here, okay, so Georgia says, well, you were threatening to hold him in contempt of court. Wendi says, I wasn't threatening to hold him in contempt. That's what my lawyer filed. Georgia's like, well, your lawyer represents you, doesn't she, Miss Adelson? She does, but I wasn't threatening him. Then Georgia says, did you cease all Skype communication between Dan Markel and the boys on March 12th of 2013? I don't remember that. No. And then here comes Georgia. Tab 54, please. It looks like my attorney advised me to do that. Did you cease all Skype conversations between Dan Markel and the boys? And here comes again, I don't remember. It's been a very long time, but if my attorney advised me to do this, then I probably did it. Okay, first and foremost, you're going to remember. I mean, Wendi is like, I mean, she's intelligent. She's gone to law school. She got good grades. Like, I know that she read every word all the time. She's going to remember what was happening during their divorce. She might not remember the exact date. She might not be a date person. I mean, I am, but she's going to remember these specifics. I mean, unless, maybe her. And then she says, advise me. And then Georgia says, and that day you filed that motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement and hold Dan Markel in contempt. Let me see if I can find that. What was the date of that filing? And then Wendi answers, it looks like October 31st, 2013. You guys, October 31st of 2013 is when Charlie.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween, Charlie asked Katie, can you find someone to harm, or do you know someone that can harm someone? Which I think it was a lot more harsh than that, but we'll go with what Katie McManawa testified to. It's the same day, and here's Georgia. It's the same day that you backed out of the contract to buy the house here in Tallahassee. And then Wendy's like, I don't remember if it was the same date. But at that point, I didn't have the money I needed to buy the house, but because Danny didn't pay what he was supposed to. And
Oh
then
yeah.
Georgia says,
Meanwhile, they had then the forensic auditor come in and show that's absolutely not true. She had plenty of money to afford the down payment, if not the house outright that she had made an offer on.
yeah, and not only did she have the money in her bank account that the forensic accountant could identify, remember, she also had a pile of money in the safe at Donna and Harvey's home. Like per wiretaps, like, you know, they had each person had an individual pile of money. I mean, I don't know exactly how much, but they also had cash. It wasn't just what was in their bank accounts. So,
How did Wendi get the, like, it sounded like Charlie, they tried to do, Charlie had some cash businesses, but was that just money they were giving her? Because it didn't seem like Wendi had any cash business on the side.
no, it was probably just money that they were putting aside for her. And maybe when they were paying for all of her things, they would just like take it out of her pile. I don't know. Because
Yeah, no, her
they didn't.
parents were at this time they were paying, and if you think about inflation, like a decade ago, they were paying her divorce attorney $600 an hour. In real terms, it's probably close to like $1,000 an hour in real terms today with inflation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Eric asked me a question, said tab 54, where are you? I'm sorry. That's like 4 minutes ago, but it's too far. Right here. Right here, Eric. I'm on page 52 of this 169 page transcript. And this is when Georgia's asking about the Skype communications between Dan Markel and the boys on March 12th of 2013. And then she says, I don't remember. And then tab 54 is where Georgia directs her to go and see what she said.
Do you want to pull up one of Leslie's videos? I actually have, if we want to show that, while Leslie's here.
Because we're going to end up doing this in parts because I know that there's a lot more I don't remembers. My first search only found 34 of them, and we're at like 25 out of 34, but I don't know why it didn't keep searching because I think it was only like page 60 something, and there's an additional 100 pages, and I actually saw more I don't remembers underneath.
So this is one of
do
Leslie's.
The ones that she did today.
Yeah, this is
these are great. Yeah, a little entertainment.
Oh, wait, am I sharing this the right way, though? Hold on, to the audio. Okay, let me, okay, I hope you can hear the audio.
I think those mute, so you need to unmute it up at the top.
Oh, hold on, I think maybe you didn't share it the right way.
Like, I always have to unmute.
Oh, let's see, it might work better if I go. Sorry, let me try this again. Because yeah, if you don't share something in StreamYard as a Chrome tab, the audio. Okay. So let's see. Okay, the latest. Well, I haven't even had a chance to see all of these. It's amazing how many. Leslie is. Oops.
Swear to God, they are just billing by the minute or the millisecond. But they played like a jail video of Donna like sitting there in her jail outfit with that Drina. But I was listening to Carl Steinbeck, and he said in all his years he has never once seen an attorney put that kind of evidence in a trial, because now the jurors have just seen, oh, she's been in jail this whole time. Way to go, Josh and Jackie.
You could hear that now,
So
right? Oops.
after lunch, the defense, I think, I swear to God, they are just billing.
The audio worked for that one.
Yes, we could hear it.
Oh,
But
okay, awesome.
How funny is that? Like Carl's right. Like they're basically showing the jury that Donna's been in jail.
Yeah. Here's another
There is
one.
never a shortage of Adelson drama. Donna's dear friend Ann Cunningham testified today and was just talking about how she and Donna were just dear friends ever since Harvey fixed her life partner, not her husband's tooth or something many years ago when they were in Florida. They are snowbirders in Naples, and she said that she and her husband offered their home to Donna and Harvey in Naples in their gated community to get relief from bloggers so that they could have a place to watch Charlie's trial. She also felt Charlie was wrongly convicted. She also said that in 2014, when Dan was shot, that Donna called her that day and was so devastated. And then she also said that after Charlie's conviction, she and Donna spoke, and Donna was just so devastated as well. However, then the defense's forensic team was on the stand and said, so they asked, Sarah, Catherine, and Georgia asked, and there was no call. There was no call between Annie Cunningham and Donna. So then they recalled the witness, Annie Cunningham, because she had already gone to the Tallahassee airport to fly home. So then she comes back and takes the stand again. And she says, yes, I spoke with Donna. And they then said, well, there was no record. And she said, oh, it must have been on WhatsApp. And Georgia Kappelman says, are you aware that WhatsApp did not have voice communications until 2015? And Dan was shot in 2014. So then she said it must have been Fiverr or something, some other phone app. So, yep, just another good friend at the Adelsons.
Was this also from today? This was oops.
I love Georgia Kappelman. Did y'all see
Oh,
her cross-examining
yes,
Donna's friend today?
Chagrin.
Defendant's statement that she could be buried in the bar mitzvah dress that she bought.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
She
this
was
is
gonna
from
be buried
today
in
as
that dress.
well.
She probably wasn't, at least at the time she made that statement, going to be making it to the bar mitzvah. Would you agree?
No, she was always going to be making it to the bar mitzvah, as far as I knew.
Even if she was dead and buried, she was going to make it.
I never heard that.
Okay.
I love Georgia Kappelman. Did y'all see her?
That is hilarious.
She's like, even if she was dead and buried, she's still gonna make it. That is so funny.
I mean, Georgia, of course, she doesn't like. She has to be quick to. Just shows how funny she is. Let's see.
Yeah. So okay, there's another one, and the man, we all call him Chagrin, like, it's Richard, but it's Rick. It's like the Susan and Rick that's on the hot mic jail call that are at Harvey and Donna's house when that happened. And like everyone's been calling him Chagrin, but when he got up there, he announced his name as Chagrin. And I thought to myself, like, oh, he doesn't want to be known as Chagrin, like it's too close to Shabusiness. Like, do you know who Shabusiness is? Taylor Shabusiness?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's Chagrin.
Let's see. Here's another one from today.
All right, Judge Everett, definitely not having it today. A couple things. One is one of the witnesses for the defense team was sequestered, which means you're not allowed to be in the courtroom. You got to stay in the hall. And then if your testimony is complete and you're released, you can sit in the courtroom. Well, this guy came in and sat in for like 20 minutes before he was called up. And of course, Georgia and Sarah Catherine, they caught it. So they still let that guy testify. He was some realtor or something.
The witness stand and step outside courtroom doors. Once the rule of sequestration is invoked, it applies equally to both parties. How long was he sitting in the back of the courtroom in the defense case?
It's not fair. It's here. Connor, our assistant, trying to find him. I've been in the hallway looking for him. I didn't see him before we called the witness that he sat in here for. She sent him a text message asking.
What is the substance of the testimony to be argued?
The substance of the testimony is a home search with Mr. and Mrs. Adelson and Dan Markell.
He's a realtor, right?
The bailiff has informed me that he was present for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm not entirely sure how this testimony relates to the matters that have gone over. At the moment to determine if the witness should be testify. Take a brief break. Everyone can be seated.
And then court ended at 3 p.m. today. My guess is that Zellman and Jackie did not have their witnesses ready to go, but Judge Everett did not look happy. So we'll see what Wednesday brings.
His report tomorrow at 8:30. We will resume at 8:45 with the witnesses. Please have all witnesses that will be testifying in the morning present and ready. Mr. Zellman, Ms. Fulford. Also, there is not to be any further violations of the rule of sequestration. We're in recess.
No,
Okay, so
those are great.
apparently after that, they announced that they have a witness that isn't going to be arriving until 10 a.m. But another thing, that was like a real estate agent. He really didn't provide any, like, he didn't really provide any information. I kind of felt bad for him because the two people that he did see testify, they were, this is so funny. They were brought in by the defense to refute Patricia Bird, who is like one of the jailhouse snitches. Like she's the one that's in there for trafficking teen girls to a trap house, which is, basically a prostitution house. But yeah, the con person and then the private investigator, and his name's something like Gritty. It's like Eddie Starnes, or it's Eddie Yarn. I don't know. It's like a total private investigator name. Like, I don't mean to be mean. Like, yeah, and he looked interesting, but those two witnesses were actually brought in to refute the Bird lady, the Patricia Bird. But their testimony was a little wacky, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. First off, I don't remember what her first name is. Her last name was Khan. She did not enunciate a lot of her words. I could not hear what district of Georgia she now works in, and I don't know, it was bad. But apparently she used to work for the defense in here in Tallahassee. So yeah, they are grasping. It was so the real estate guy, but it just shows you, like, not only do the and Patty went over this in her live today. I wasn't on her live, but I listened to it in like 2 times, like double speed. And Patty was saying, like, she kind of felt bad for him. Like, he didn't really have anything to add. And the defense didn't even ask him any pertinent questions that you would ask a real estate person, like a realtor.
That's maybe
But
even
yeah.
why Judge Everett allowed it, because he thought it was not
Yeah.
really significant testimony anyway.
But right, but it's really about like the defense. Like not only do they have like they don't have client control, they don't even have like witness control. Because Patty also said that the con lady was sitting out in the hallway, basically listening to all these, like people coming in and out, like after breaks and lunch. And no one knew who she was, but she was like sitting there and like, spectators, because the jury's not around and you're not thinking that witnesses are around, they're like, they were discussing the case. Like people which I didn't know that people would be discussing it I just would, if I go there, I wouldn't say a word to anyone about the case. But Patty also said that Harvey was going in and out and getting the witnesses, like instead of the paralegals for the defense team. Like Harvey is paying these defense attorneys, and he's the one going in and out and getting the witnesses, which I guess were like the friends earlier in the day.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
this is a defense debacle.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember in the jail calls that Charlie was sad he hadn't used up all his miles he had
Airline miles?
accumulated?
Yeah, he had 2 million. He had 2 million airline miles.
Yeah, and he wished he had taken I guess his girlfriend wanted to go to, I think he said Japan, and he's like, yeah, uses up too many miles. And he was wishing he had used those miles because, yeah, he knows he's never, well, he did take a flight. He did take a flight last week for across the country, but
Have you
yeah.
seen the video of him in the back of the van?
I've only seen like really short snippets.
Did
The
you? Okay,
snippets,
so there's like 2 of them. There's one where he's like, "Hey," and the guy opened the doors like Charlie, and then there's another one where like they take him to Wendy's to get food. They probably are buying like the $5 bundle bag that has like like the little the little double cheeseburger with like nuggets and fries and a drink, and then he's like scarfing it down. Have
oh,
you seen that video? Like
no.
he's about to choke on it.
Wow.
Hey, there's another one with the chagrin guy. Chagrin. Of Leslie B's shorts. There's another one. If you scroll down, she's been so busy all day.
Oh, here's Charlie
Here it
Adelson,
is.
the van.
Charlie,
We all know Charlie Adelson is back in Leon County in case he is needed to testify.
Man, thank you so much, man.
Charlie, we are across the street from the jail. I'll go as slow as I can, but you eat what you. I ain't gonna. You eat it all. I'm not gonna take you out the van until you're done. You good?
Looks like he flew from South Dakota and then was transported for a while to Leon County. And what did he get to eat? Nothing other than Wendy's. Wendy. Tonica's 2 Cents on YouTube has posted a lengthy video of this. I just wanted to share a short little bit. How good do you think those chicken nuggets and soda and fries tasted to Charlie? And I bet you his stomach was paying the price later.
I was. Bring it with you, Charlie. Put it in the bag.
You guys were fantastic.
He looks so
Charlie,
happy.
We all know Charlie.
Anywhere but prison is nice. Yeah, he looks happy. He looks happy to be in Tallahassee. That's what's even funnier. Like, considering they all hated Tallahassee. That's another thing in the jail calls that like gets to me, is like when he keeps going like, I should have never come to Tallahassee, like as if he had a choice. He was not coming to Tallahassee on like a vacay. He was brought to Tallahassee after being arrested.
Yeah.
He acts like he came up here by choice.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how many times he visited Wendi in Tallahassee when she lived up here. Because remember, he worked 6 days a week.
Yeah, he didn't even go to the memorial that they had for Dan.
Of course not.
Yeah, would. I don't think he read Wendy's book. I almost wouldn't be surprised if
No,
he
he
hadn't
didn't.
visited her in Tallahassee. There's a photograph of her graduating from FSU, and actually Rob and his wife are in the photo, which I found really sad. Like, they came up for her graduation. She's there with with Dan, and but Charlie's not in the photos.
Yeah, he didn't want to have anything to do with Tallahassee. And now he's all happy. Yeah, he has. Yeah, Mia says he's aged 20 years. I wonder if like prison, like the co-inmates with him in prison are like saying, hey Charlie, I got a toothache over here, can you check it out? Do I have a cavity? Like how is he, like what's going on in South Dakota?
Yeah, instead of like jail attorneys, jail lawyers, yeah, I mean, he seemed very surprisingly gregarious in that video.
He looks mad, like crazy mad, like
Yeah.
like he looks crazy. So
It's like I've never
Leslie
seen
says,
him looking that happy in any of the videos.
I know it's pathetic.
Some people actually, apparently, it's hard to imagine, but they end up enjoying prison. Like Bernie Madoff, that was federal prison too, but apparently he was giving people like financial advice, and he was kind of like a king in the prison, and he apparently, ended up enjoying prison more than he expected.
Leslie says that the Chagrin guy is the top right short.
Oh,
the one with
this one?
Georgia. Yeah, yes.
Georgia's on a roll today. This gentleman was testifying. He's friends with Harvey and Donna. Georgia got him good.
Okay. But what you did in reference to the travel planning was help with the computer.
Yes,
Because you were more computer savvy than these two.
correct.
But today you're saying you suggested the one-way flight, right?
I just offered my suggestion.
Okay. And you said that Donna Adelson is a typical Jewish grandmother. Does a typical Jewish grandmother suggest dressing her grandchildren up in Nazi uniforms?
Not to my knowledge.
No further questions.
Georgia's on a roll today. This gentleman.
Wow. It almost seemed like he hadn't. I think this seems like her friends haven't watched the testimony. Like it almost felt like genuinely he didn't know what Georgia was referring to there.
Right, because the joke because he would have been like, yeah, like people might say that as a joke, or if they're trying to antagonize, that should be like the answer, right? The answer should be like, I mean, not to my knowledge, it means he doesn't know anything about it. Instead,
like Donna wouldn't say that, but yeah, we've all seen the emails.
Yeah, or like, I mean, the correct response of a friend that knew the evidence should be something to the effect like, well, yeah, I know that she said something like that, but they were just really trying to push Dan's buttons to get, you know what I mean? Like it would, like his answer meant he didn't know anything about it. Leslie says, don't get used to all these shorts because the pace is tough. I get it. I mean, I don't even know how you do it, Leslie. That's so awesome.
This one we haven't watched yet.
Wendi Adelson testified
From
in her
today.
mom's trial on Monday, August the 25th. And it was just 4 days later, and her whole transcript was typed up and in her mom's case file. Why is that? A lot of legal experts say the prosecution requested it to be done, and it could possibly be going to be used for grand jury to indict her. So we will see. But usually transcripts don't come out until way after a trial. What do you think? Chris Corbett's is also there.
That's correct.
And his was out there after 2 days.
Mm.
That's correct.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
interesting.
I almost wonder if there's already a grand jury indictment that's under seal. Like I don't know if they're going to have to reconvene. That's just what I'm thinking. I just wonder, because they can have like, I mean, even in like the John Bonet case, they had a grand jury that actually said that John and Patsy Ramsey should be indicted right after John Bonet's murder. And that was under seal for like 20 something years. Did you know that,
Wow.
Allison?
No.
Yeah, like it was like the first grand jury being convened in Colorado when John Bonet, and I think, what was that, like 1994, 96? I mean, it's been a long time. But yeah, a grand jury actually said that they should be indicted. And it was under seal for like at least 2 decades.
Does it expire after a certain time frame, like being under seal, or just there
No,
was a
no,
decision?
not for murder. I actually don't know what the process is to have it unsealed. Once it's sealed, it probably has to go to like the chief judge. I guess. I mean, I don't know. You could look it up in your chat GPT. I'm kidding, Allison. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what the process is of unsealing it, but I don't believe that it expires. Like this, I don't think that the seal expires. I think that someone has to unseal it. And yeah, I just don't know who that is. I don't know. Oh. Wow, Leslie. That wow, I did
Oh,
not know that. Okay,
speaking of Boulder, Colorado, where Jean Bonnet lived and was killed. Yeah, Crime Con is there this year, and Leslie's going. She has flyers that she put together with Mia to pass out on my mother's case. Actually, she sent a video. Hold on, I can pull up. It's really sweet. I'm so grateful to you, Leslie, for doing that.
Yes, that's awesome.
Let's see.
And I did want to say, I saw, like, trying to find a cure. She came in. I say she. I don't know if it's a he or she. They came in a while ago, so I do want to say hi. I'm trying to make sure that we say hi to everybody who joins us, because we're like, Allison and I
Yeah,
are kind of on a
I'm
mission. We're on a mission.
I'm jumping around with the chat. But yeah, Leslie sent this. Oh, Mia, I didn't I haven't been on Instagram. Oh, Mia says she sent a recording of the message. Me and Rosemary have been calling Wagstaff's office multiple times to ask to discuss my mother's case. Yeah, this is
Oh, we can't hear what Leslie's saying.
Oh. Oh, let's see. Hmm. Oh, I think QuickTime Player. Oh, I have to do like sorry.
Are you pulling that from YouTube, or are you just pulling it from a video that she sent
I'm
you?
pulling it from actually video that yeah, Leslie sent, like texted me.
Oh. Hey,
But
Patricia, I see what you said, but we'll talk about that in 1 second.
oh yeah, sorry. Do you want to go back to yeah, it
Oh,
might take me.
no. I see Patricia Burns. About a minute ago, she said she heard that George, who is Wendy's partner, has adopted the boys.
Really?
Yeah, apparently there's a podcast or there's like I don't know if it was a YouTube channel or a podcast or something. They reported that George, the boyfriend, has adopted the boys, and
Oh wow. I guess she's the
John Lauro had the video or the podcast taken down.
wow. Yeah, I guess
This is the thing, like, well, I'm
because
sorry.
Dan's dead, like she can just make that
Yeah,
decision on her own. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And another thing is, I believe that because Shelley Markel is over their trust fund, right? Their $2 million insurance trust fund. I think that I believe that she gets notified, like if they move or, I think that she always has to know where they are. I believe that that's just a legal thing, but he definitely could have adopted them and them not change their name, because Shelley would have had to been notified if they changed their name. So I think that they're just
I
sticking
imagine she
with
didn't change
Adelson.
the names.
Of course not.
Yeah. Although she did say in Charlie's last hearing that after all this was over, she was going to change everyone's names,
Yeah, but
like
the thing is
including hers.
yeah. But if the boys had their names changed, then like Shelley would be notified. Like it would come through like the legal documents, because she like sends out, I mean, I don't know how much, but like she sends out some sort of allotment of money to Wendi for the boys. So Shelley was notified when their name was legally changed a year after Dan's death. That's how the Markels found out about it, when they went from Markel to Adelson legally.
Yeah, that was something that came out in this trial as well, that Wendi and her family started using Adelson as the boy's last name in invitations, etc., way before Dan was killed, and that
Yeah,
just
it was
like
the
she was
Evite.
fantasizing in her novel.
Yeah, it was the 70th birthday paella party for Harvey Evite. It said Wendi B and L Adelson. Like it didn't say Wendi Adelson and her sons B and L. It just said Wendi B L Adelson. So it was, yeah, of course it wasn't legally changed, in June of 2014 when that Evite was going out. But they had effectively changed it, how Georgia has said it in court when asking Wendi on the stand, like legally changed in 2015. However, you were already calling them that. Well, before this trial, she was saying you were already calling them that when they went to school. But now we know that they were already referring to the boys as Adelsons instead of Markells, like even before Dan was murdered. So that's just like another piece of this puzzle. It's so crazy.
Oh my gosh, this is a good point from Wilt 333. Yeah, so if Wendy's arrested, if she's convicted, then it'll be up to, like, now that she's given them George as their, like, other parent, it'll then, yeah, it'll be up to their, like, legally, he's their dad now, for
And
him
thanks for
to
joining
make
us,
these
Will.
decisions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, thanks for joining us, Wilt. Now, okay, so I do want to say something about this just because I do have knowledge of it. If and when a parent is arrested, they can make plans for their child. A parent is always a parent until their parental rights have been terminated. So let's just say Wendi gets arrested, at the end of the week. I think we're going to get a verdict before Friday or by Friday or on Friday. And let's just say she gets arrested. Like, Wendi still has parental rights. They could do an expedited TPR, like an expedited termination of parental rights petition in the state in which they live. But that takes time. So Wendi has a say in what happens to the kids, whether or not George adopted them. But I think for long term, Wendi probably, I don't know why. I can imagine several different reasons why George has adopted them. But if Wendi were to be arrested, she still has a say-so in where the boys go until her parental rights are gone.
So even beyond arrest, even beyond conviction, although by the time...
by the time she's convicted, they're already kind of old enough to say who they want to live with, but even by the time she gets convicted, Leslie's right. The oldest will be 18, and the youngest is only 14 months behind him in age. They're 2 years apart in school, and that's because the youngest one is born after August 31st. His birthday's in October, so he's like kind of an older kid. Like my birthday's in November, so I was, I was an older kid. Well, we had this discussion, Allison, like when we talked on the phone once, but it was a little bit different for you because you were in England. Remember, I was asking you like what class of you were like in high school, and like we were. Remember, like we talked about like the age. So like some kids might graduate high school when they're 17 and then turning 18, like the summer before they go to college, or they might start college at 17 years old and then turn, 18 right before the end of August.
Yeah.
But if you're born like in the fall, then you're like kind of like a half year older than everyone else. So even though the boys are only 14 months apart, my point is that they're 2 years apart in school, in like USA school.
And they're like 14, 15 now?
No, the oldest one just turned 16, and the youngest one will be, he'll be turning 15 in October. But they're probably junior and freshman in high school.
Yeah. I would guess that they're in denial about their mom being complicit, or for that matter, I don't know, they might also think their grandmother and uncle weren't involved. I don't know.
Yeah,
But now that there's YouTube, It'd be surprising if at those ages the boys hadn't. It might be too upsetting for them as well to watch
Well,
this stuff.
remembering the jail calls, like Donna says, like what the reaction is between the boys when Charlie gets convicted. Did you ever hear that? Like where Donna, I don't know if it's a hot mic drop call or
Oh,
if
is
she's
Donna reassuring Charlie that the boys don't think that he's guilty, even though that he was found
Oh,
guilty?
I don't know. I know that I can't remember the exact thing that she says, but she's I think it might even be the hot mic drop call where she is talking to someone or maybe it's one where she's talking to Charlie, and because Wendy's not contacting Donna, Donna starts contacting George and asks George, like, has Wendy told the boys? And George says yes. And then she says, well, what happened? And then George says, like, one of them did one thing and the other one went and played basketball. Like they just like because the oldest one was writing Charlie when he was in jail. Like they're very close.
Oh, wow.
Or they
Yeah,
were
sad.
very close. I don't. So yeah, and well, and I kind of want to put a plug real quick on like for John. Oh, I see Brian Friel. Thank you for joining us. I just keep trying to pick up like new people that I'm seeing to just thank them for being here with Allison and I tonight. We appreciate it very much. Where was I going? What was I about to say? Oh, sorry.
Oh, the boys' different reactions.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to plug like John Steinbeck's channel called Brainwashing Children. He did an interview with Ruth Markel a few years ago, and it is such a great interview. But one reason why John and Carl Steinbeck are so invested in this case is because John Steinbeck was alienated from his son when he divorced the mother of his son. And so that's kind of why like Carl gets really fired up about the fact that the Markells haven't seen the boys, or that there has been not only was there parental alienation going on with Dan before he was murdered, then there was like grandparent alienation happening after that. And
Yeah.
I think it was about like a year and a half ago or so, like I did watch John Steinbeck's channel. It's called Brainwashing Children, and it's on YouTube. It's very informative. Like even if you're not, I found it informative even if you aren't getting a divorce or anything. Like even just like with arguments and stuff, like you and your spouse might have an argument, like you got to keep the kids out of it. Like you can't turn around and be like, oh man, your dad, or man, your mom sucks, like you can't do those kinds of things, because even couples that aren't separated or divorced, there can still be parental alienation in an intact home. I just learned,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, have you seen that video when he interviews Ruth Markel?
No, but I think that's a really interesting point that, yeah, you can have that with parents undermining each other, even if they're not, even if they're not divorced.
Yeah, like, it kind of like made me like take a look at myself, like be careful like what you say if you're like not happy, or just like let children be children as long as possible.
Well, I'm out of between my husband, I am like the stricter one. And so I feel like when you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, I do get Jeff in front. I do resent it when he's like, oh yeah, mom won't let it. We're just talking about like one of them getting driver's permit, and I'm like, no, I haven't agreed to that yet. Anyway.
No, I'm the strict one too. And it's like sometimes I'm like, what is going on? Like I'm like this, like my husband would probably be like, hey, let's have some ice cream before dinner. I was like, what? What's going on here? Just like things like, yeah, I'm like the disciplinarian, and like my husband's the one that like the kids can get away with whatever.
I know. The thing is that, yeah, it's so easy to just give kids ice cream and make them, they're happy, but they think that, oh, that's the nice thing to do. But then, no, that's not. The nicer thing to do is to give them healthy food, but they won't appreciate that until they're 30 looking back.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and hey, we can all eat ice cream after they've had like their dinner, and I like make some. I have a couple, kids that won't eat certain vegetables, but like I literally make them eat something. And I'm a good cook. Like I'm not a bad cook, so I know what what bad food tastes like But I'm just saying, like I'm a good cook, so. And I like roast vegetables, which is like the best way to serve them. And I'm like, no, you will eat these vegetables or you're not getting dessert. And then I'll like go take a shower or something. I come out, everyone has a bowl of ice cream. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, what just happened
I
there?
can relate to that. I'll have to watch that show, John Steinbeck's show with Jeff.
So I can't because like the way I feel about Wendy is like she and all and all the Adelsons minus Robert, but like they just wanted to erase Dan's memory, because I think that we talked about this, and I've done this on a live too. I've talked about it. Like my dad passed away of cancer, and I had just turned 4, so I only have about maybe like 6 specific frames of memory that are real memories. Like 2 of them, I can hear his voice. My sister, who's 11 months older than me, she has a much broader memory of my father than I do. So just the boys being 14 months difference in that age range, like under 5, is like a big deal. I'll guarantee you the youngest probably might not have more than just a handful of memories. The oldest one is going to have more memory, but because they were so young and the way that the Adelsons, treated Dan before and then, of course, after his death, those memories sometimes fade if they're not continuously reiterated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Like
yeah,
they
the
go away.
Donna and Wendi, they seem to think that, also based on the question, what Donna apparently was emailing, and then what Donna was asking Jeffrey Lacrosse and his like expertise as a social worker, psychologist, when do kids, like, even if kids don't have a memory, they can still be traumatized. But yeah, I think it's even worse if you don't have any memory. That's so sad.
Well, and I don't know if you remember, I can't remember exactly which Jeffrey Lacasse interview it was with the detectives. I think it was the third one, the one that was like March 6th of 2015. But he talks about how Wendy told him that the children were wetting the beds, like after Dan's death when they were down in South Florida. And I do have knowledge of this, like enuresis and encopresis is the inability to control your bowels or urination. And outside of like a medical issue in a child, it indicates 2 specific things. The first one is SA, okay, sexual abuse, right? I'm trying to, use Pig Latin because I don't want to get flagged. But then the second one is trauma. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were traumatized.
Yeah, I actually remember that happening to me after my mother was murdered. Like I started wetting the bed again, even though like when I was, I was basically 6.
Yeah, and you were already potty trained for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put John Steinbeck's channel in the chat because I think that someone was asking about it. I think I might have missed what was happening.
I agree with Leslie, and yeah, it's hard about the true crime addiction is not about, I can't stand the gore or the autopsy descriptions or but yeah, and I think that people who aren't true crime addicts, which is it's the majority of people aren't true crime addicts, but it's about the psychology, and I think
Yeah, I
it's
don't like
also about
gory.
people wondering like how to stay safe, like learning what criminals are like, so then they can, because statistically people who are interested in true crime, like you might think, oh, those are more likely to be criminals, but it's actually the reverse. So that's what I tell people when who aren't true crime addicts, when I feel like they're they're thinking, well, only criminals would be interested in true crime. I mean, of course there are some criminals interested in true crime, but it's I think
It's
like
about the
people
mind.
yeah, like the puzzle solving as well. And
Yeah, I don't want to know any gory details. I just want I want to know like the processes behind it, like what's like the mind, the psyche of it, like what's happening in people's brains. Like especially like with murder. like who goes to that extent.
yeah. And then for me personally, it's trying to grapple with like what was my father thinking, or how could he have done something so stupid and heinous, even though like even though I experienced his violence, I compartmentalized that, and it still took me until adulthood to kind of acknowledge the evidence that I had compartmentalized or even had vivid memories of in some cases. But yeah, I do think it's a struggle to try to, even though I do keep trying to do it, for someone with empathy to imagine someone without empathy, or like, how could these Adelsons be so stupid when they're obviously intelligent, educated people? Like, in a sense, it's like, how did my father think he'd get away with it, with like but then he has, thus far, bringing my mother's car to his house when she wasn't, all this, like thinking like her body would be weighted down by a cinder block, that she'd never be found, but she was actually found the next day. So yeah, there's all kind of stupid aspects of my father's crime, but
Well, and that's
yeah,
like I mean that's like kind of like what I'm interested in is like what I call malignant narcissists, and they are all psychopaths. And Wendi, in my opinion, and what I've seen, I believe that she fits the mold. I also think that Donna fits the mold. And so that's a very interesting dynamic between the two. And Allison and I are going to do some research, and we're going to have a show a show. We're going to have a live stream specifically geared toward that dynamic between Donna and Wendi, because it, when narcissists raise children, like if there's more than one child in the home, they get pitted against each other. And that's probably what Robert, Charlie, and Wendi experienced in their childhood. And there's two ways to come out of it. You either come out of it as a narcissist yourself, or you come out of it like someone like Robert, who has empathy, feelings, like, devastation of people being hurt, when you have Charlie and Wendi that have no empathy or feeling whatsoever that's of what's happened. And also being people who planned the murder of Dan Markel. Because narcissists,
Yeah, that's really
can raise
interesting.
narcissists.
Yeah, I've heard that too, that it tends to either go in the direction, that the child is a narcissist themselves, or that they're like almost overly empathic, and because they're like used to catering and being sensitive to their parent, that they don't like understand that their parent is a narcissist as they're growing up, but especially, well, I guess it doesn't sound like the Adelson household was violent, but yeah, if they're trying to avoid triggering violence from like a narcissistic.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of different levels of narcissism. Like and honestly, like most adults, like everyone has maybe like one or two different narcissistic characteristics, in which like maybe you're a little selfish about something, or another piece of it, but that's like where it ends. Like you still have empathy, you still have like you're either called like an empath, a normie. Normal people have a couple of like traits, but it's nothing like a full-on narcissist. And then there's even different other levels of it. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I don't pretend to be one, but I've learned a lot. Like, that's why I'm always comparing like Wendi to Meghan Markle. Because there's some parallels. And
Yeah.
if there ever is a movie, like Meghan Markle needs to play Wendi Adelson. And I'm sorry, you guys can agree to disagree. It's okay. It's just my opinion. It's just my thoughts. Yeah. Look, Mia said, Allison, you're such a miracle. That's so true.
Aw, thank you.
And Julia Nielsen joined us. Hey, Julia, how are you? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I don't know these, even though I'm throwing around the term narcissists. I don't know the specific definition to diagnose anyone, but I guess by that I'm just meaning like people that lack empathy for others. And of course there's a spectrum, as you were saying, True Crime Wifey. Do you know the definition of borderline? Anyway, that's
like borderline personality disorder.
Yeah, Julia is saying people can be narcissists and borderline simultaneously. Some people are saying that they think that Wendi is both.
Yeah, because all malignant narcissists are psychopaths. I believe. I could be wrong. Never mind. Maybe I shouldn't like say that. Definitely.
No, True Crime Wifey. Although, yeah, she we're not like revealing her identity, but she does have expertise in this kind of area. I'm not like tangent area. You know,
Okay,
yeah.
I have the definition. Borderline personality disorder is a mental health condition characterized by long-term patterns of unstable emotions, relationships, and self-image, leading to impulse and potentially self-damaging behaviors. Key symptoms include an intense fear of abandonment, unstable relationships, an unstable sense of self, impulsivity in areas like substance abuse or spending, recurrent suicidal behavior, chronic feelings of emptiness, intense anger, and stress-related paranoid ideation and disassociation. That's ChatGPT. I'm sorry, that's an AI overview. I don't know if that's what like the DSM says. But yeah, it's basically a mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behaviors, and relationships. It isn't well understood. Diagnosis may be based on many symptoms. The symptoms include emotional instability, feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, impulsivity, and impaired social relationships. Treatments are talk therapy, medications, hospitalization if symptoms are severe.
Yeah.
But
It
then,
seems
but
like,
I think that there's like it's also probably a spectrum as well.
yeah. Yeah, I do think all these things are spectrums, but yeah, it's interesting. Like Rob, Charlie, and Wendi. I mean, Charlie and Wendi. Um, Even if they're both narcissists, they outwardly seem quite different. Like all the three kids are really different from each other. Um, like Rob genuinely having morality and ethics, and Charlie, we know from his ex-girlfriends testifying, you know, he had anger issues. It doesn't seem like Wendi, or it seemed like she could if she has rage, like she could mask it, but obviously she's, you know, to do what she did to her boys, she's lacks empathy even for her own children. um Donna seems like, you know, in terms of the relationship, or like the relationships that Rob and Wendi had, like she seems like very controlling. She doesn't seem to care what Charlie does. It's in terms of his girlfriends. Maybe she didn't really think he was going to marry any of them. I don't know. But like she wanted Rob to be with someone who was Jewish, even got him at first to break up with the love of his life that thankfully he does end up with in the end, and briefly marry someone that he realized shortly after the marriage he didn't really love, but she was Jewish, someone his mom approved of. So like Donna accomplished that manipulation with Rob initially. And, you know, with Wendi, then, yeah, she also like picked out Dan from his J-Date profile. She wanted someone Jewish, but then she didn't want him to be like too observant, you know? But then Charlie, she doesn't seem to have almost any opinion in these phone calls. Like she's obsessing about who Wendi's dating, and she doesn't reflect anything to Charlie about who he's dating.
Patricia Burns says babies are born needy, and if their needs are not met, they remain needy forever. And then Skytroop says all psychopaths are narcs, but not all narcs. But all narcs are not psychopaths. Okay. Yeah, I get that. Like, because you know that we were talking about when we were talking about Ted Bundy a couple nights ago, or I don't even remember when it was, Allison. A couple nights
Yeah,
ago,
we listened to Wendi describe her lack of internal feelings in
Right.
her own writing. And then we brought up Brian Koberger had written something similar. I mean, his writing
Yeah.
style was different, but I felt like it was describing something very similar. And yeah, then we we
So one
went up.
common thread, of serial killers is that they all have childhood trauma of some sort. And I remember once, I can't remember, well, okay, I don't remember where I heard this, but I remember someone's like, oh, well, Ted Bundy never had any sort of childhood trauma, and he was just a psychopath serial killer. Well, that's actually not true. When Ted Bundy was between 10 or 12 years old, he ended up learning that his mother was not his real mother and that his older sister was actually his biological mother.
Oh yeah.
And that was like a severe traumatic issue. And I'm not making excuses for him. Okay. I'm just saying like serial killers, they all have a common denominator of some sort of, whether it's, straight up childhood abuse or like an S abuse, like being young and physical, emotional, but they have like a specific trauma. And his trauma was, he was not abused, but his trauma was at the age of 10, 11, or 12, I can't remember which, he found out that his entire life before that was a lie. And that's like when, like that, I mean, that is his trauma. So just, I don't know, just a little tidbit. Yeah, I am a true crime aficionado, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to analyze because, kids may have had trauma that maybe they don't even realize themselves how they've been affected by, all kinds of different events or, traumatic things that could have happened to them. And they may have, when they're doing this research, identifying, okay, every serial killer's had trauma as a child. They may not even have been like open about it themselves. Like we don't know, for instance, what's Brian Koberger's if he's.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I stayed away from that case. It was so gruesome, and then there was all the, the free Brian Koberger people.
Oh
But
my
hey, I
God,
just wanted to
oh my
say,
God, that was so
Miss
nuts.
Spoffles arrived a few minutes ago and says, hi, Allison and TCW.
Oh,
Really enjoying the
oh,
conversation. Thank you.
thank you.
Elizabeth is here too. Elizabeth 2024. Thank you guys for joining us. We're really we like doing this. And we're trying to get better.
Yeah, sorry, True Crime Wifey and I both discussed like we have ADHD I have diagnosis as an adult. ADHD, True Crime Wifey, I don't think it's
I just
diagnosed,
have the
but
I don't have the H. I just
oh
have
yeah,
the ADD.
I'm just throwing the H in there. I don't know if the
Yeah,
H
it's
is
okay.
but I think I'm worse than True Crime Wifey. I got us off on the tangent. We were going through the transcript and yeah, sorry, the transcript is
But
really interesting.
everything in our conversation has been relevant. And one thing that we did talk about was like we were not going to be able to get through this transcript, and it would be like more of like, maybe a continuation, and then we'll have to continue it, pick up where we left off, because everything that we've talked about since we left Wendy's I Don't Remembers has been relevant to the case in regards to Dan Markel's murder. So
Did you mention, I think you did already mention how many you've found, like just the sheer number?
I found 34 in the first 60 pages, and the document is 169 pages. So I'm gonna have to. I don't know why it only gave me 34 because I kept seeing more past that page. So I'll just have to, maybe I'll have to like clip out, where we left off and then do another search and find more, because she definitely, quote, doesn't remember, end quote, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's nonsense. Just like in
Oh, and
previous trials.
there is a couple of I don't recalls. So I don't know what was wrong with my find. So
Yeah. She also claimed in previous trials not to, even though she's an attorney, not to know what contempt of court was, or dismissal with prejudice, like these common, especially the contempt one. Like everyone understands that, whether or not they're a lawyer. Like she is. I mean, I think in her real life, she wants to be perceived as really intelligent and educated. In fact, like um she didn't want Dan to mention at their wedding that he'd gone to Harvard, because she felt that, even though she's very impressive educational pedigree as well. But yeah, then on the stand, she's acting brainless.
um yeah, I see that people are like talking about Ted Bundy, and Brian Friel says try Deliberate Stranger with Mark Harmon as Ted Bundy. Like that is the movie that I saw about Ted Bundy. I'm pretty sure it's a 1980s movie. It ruined Mark Harmon for me, just like Training Day ruined Denzel Washington for me. But I'm gonna look real quick to see when Deliberate Stranger came out, because it's Mark Harmon plays Ted Bundy. It's definitely from the 80s. Yeah, let me look. Oh, it's a 1986 film. Yeah, Mark Harmon, and he plays a good Ted Bundy. It's like got it has the Volkswagen and everything. And oh, this is one thing I wanted to tell you, Allison, when we were talking the other night, and I was telling you about how local people told me about the entourage that was bringing Ted Bundy from Pensacola back to Tallahassee. One of the main reasons was because he had escaped not only once but twice from being locked up. I think once in California and once in Washington State. I can't I I can't be certain about California, but I know that he escaped like from jails
Like
twice
by talking
before.
his way out of it, or
No, well,
by like
one he
physically
like
running?
no,
Oh,
physically one he like crawled out. He like lost a whole bunch of weight and literally crawled through like the air conditioning vent out to the roof and escaped. So
oh my
it was
gosh.
a big deal. It was just like a normal little like road cop in like Pensacola. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was like Pensacola Police Department. I don't even think it was a Escambia County Sheriff. I think it was a Pensacola police officer that was like that pulled him over and caught him. Like, and he was driving that little Volkswagen Beetle. So
Wow. Um, yeah, it is almost midnight.
yeah,
I'm feeling tired.
I
It's almost
know
midnight where we are.
we were tired before we came on. So, okay, so why don't we just talk real quick about what any of the viewers who are still here, how they can help get justice for Nancy, and then we'll end it.
No,
Justice
thank
for
you.
Nancy
Yeah, so much
Galvani.
for bringing that up. True Crime Wifey. Yeah, so my mother was murdered in 1982, and like as an adult, I've realized that there's overwhelming evidence against my father. But even more than 40 years later, he was arrested originally, but yeah, he hasn't been prosecuted. And the entire Foster City Police Department, like all the way up, in addition to several people at the San Mateo DA's office, want to press charges immediately, which is actually thanks to the response and advocacy of this wonderful community over the last year. The renewed investigation, reopening of my mother's case. But it's waiting for the approval of the Wagstaff, who's, the DA, and in charge of the San Mateo office. So even brief email like Nancy Galvani still deserves justice, that we've seen that it's been instrumental in allocation of resources, and now the investigation, the police department, etc., feel is complete, and yeah, they're just waiting for approval from Wagstaff. So if anyone out there is willing to send him an email, I know many of you have, but if anyone hearing about this for the first time, yeah, I'd be so grateful.
And I just want to add that just this past August 8th was the 43rd anniversary of Nancy Galvani's death, who's Allison's mom. Brian Friel was asking who's Nancy. So yes, Nancy Galvani is Allison's mother. She was murdered by Allison's father in 1982 in San Mateo County. And her body was found the next day in the San Francisco Bay.
It was, yeah, under similar circumstances. One reason, I'm so interested in following the Adelson case. It was during divorce with custody battle. Although my father didn't hire hitmen, he did it himself, and it's clearly premeditated. Well, if I start launching into the evidence, then yeah, we'll be here for a while longer.
Well,
but on my
and you have several videos on your channel that go into the information and evidence and details surrounding Nancy's murder.
Yes, and yeah, my channel is My Father's Alibi because my father used me as like a false alibi. So yeah, that's the reason behind the name of my channel. But yeah, if I play the Maestro made this amazing video introduction, you'll see like I'll play it now as we wrap up. There's some even clips from newspaper articles at the time that highlight some of the evidence. So if nothing else, if you're still here, then you'll see that. So okay, no, thanks so much, True Crime Wifey. I love doing these lives with you.
Yeah, thank you. I had fun. And I appreciate everybody for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We'll
Take
see
care,
you guys
everyone.
soon.